GM, welcome to another episode of Wake and Jake. You guys know the routine, but if not, say we got a first time listener, we'll go ahead and rip through it here. We're going to hear Jake and Bake's thoughts on the market, what we should be paying attention to this week, basically where we should put in our time. As always, the show is rated NFA, not financial advice, so keep that in mind as we go along here. It's also an open conversation, so if you guys have anything to add as we go, feel free to unmute and jump in. But yeah, I was out last week, so I missed a lot. I thought you guys had an amazing show. Shout out to Gen Zone Seth. You guys were crushing it. But glad to be back, man. Jake, how are you doing, brother? GM.
Yeah, GM. Glad to have you back. Feeling better. We missed you, that's for sure. I'm happy we had some nice fill-ins last week though. Seth and Jinzo did a great job from the crowd. Like always, if you wanna contribute to the conversation, this is pretty open combo. We'll kind of lead discussion on topics and such, but I mean, besides that, we want everyone contributing, getting in there, chopping it up, hearing everyone's opinions. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Sun's shining here. I'm looking at the charts right now. Things are going up. It's green, the typical 100x long when the show starts. Gonna be
That's
working out
right.
real well right now.
We hit the go live
Bitcoin's
button,
about to
man.
touch
We did it.
58K. It's about so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
man, I'm doing
incredible.
great.
Yeah, I'm feeling that with you, man. Glad to come back from taking some time away and seeing some green. I know we had talked. I think it was about a month ago about that 67K level, man. That was a key level there. So yeah, excited to see that hit and kind of near held, but I'm really excited to hear what your thoughts are. So this is what we were looking out for. Excuse me. This is what we were looking out for. Now we're here. So yeah, man. What are we thinking here? Talk to me about macro. How's Bitcoin looking?
Yeah, so I mean, this is great. This is happening right now. But there's a mix of emotions, I'd say, like over the past week. I mentioned a lot of times that Don Alt is one of, if not my favorite person to follow for macro analysis, and he he actually said that he thinks it's likely that the cycle top is in, which is pretty wild thing to say. Obviously, and he got a lot of criticism for that on Twitter. Um, he especially said that regarding meme coins, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but I want to focus on the main ones at the moment. But I'll say, despite him saying that, he also tweeted a little bit later on. Um, he has changed his mind from time to time. And he did tweet a little later on that if we get above 68.3, then that's very strong. I just shared the tweet. Under 65.5 would not look great. Above 68.3 would look very strong. So despite him saying that he thinks that the cycle top is in, which would be pretty wild, if only Bitcoin hit barely over all time high, and ETH didn't even get back to all time high, Sol didn't even get back to all time high, and the cycle top would be in. That'd be pretty crazy, in my opinion. Um, but it's notable that he's kind of on the island there. A lot of other people that I follow that I really respect their opinions, they're still very bullish. And he seems willing to change that opinion too. If we are back above 68.3, which we are very close to right now, about $500 away at the moment. Um, 67 was a really good level. That was kind of a past level. These things change as time goes on. There's new levels that get established. There's new lines that get drawn on these charts. Um, so it was bullish, but now it's up to the 68.3, and that's what I'm really looking at right now. Based on his analysis here. So but yeah, we had a really good week last week. We haven't been talking about the ETFs as much. We used to cover them quite a bit when they first came out, but they've been pretty steady. No real news from the ETF front besides last week, where we actually saw inflows every single day and pretty significant ones. Where the trend seems to be picking back up on the ETF front for Bitcoin at least. We had almost $1 billion of inflows in total last week, which is a really nice number. We even saw inflows into GBTC, which is the notable fund that's been selling, that where all the sell pressure came from. They actually saw inflows the last 3 days of trading. positive inflows, which is kind of crazy given that they are an inferior product. They charge like 1.5% fees compared to these other products that charge like less than like 0.5%, I think. Um, so they're like absolutely like an inferior product, and still they're getting inflows. So that's pretty crazy. Um, in a pretty bullish sign, I would say, considering they were the main perpetrators for the outflows in the past, where we were seeing hundreds of millions outflows per day from that GPTC when ETF still or first launched. So really good to see you there on the ETF front. Hopefully that trend continues. So yeah, that's it for BTC. Still, really watching that 68.3 level, I think is the big one that I'm going to keep my eye on. Hopefully we get there over this next week. From a ETH perspective, for moving on a little bit, this is actually a big week for ETH, as well as this is when the ETF approval for ETH has to be either approved or denied for the SEC on Wednesday of this week. The first one is Van Eck, which the SEC has to make a ruling on Wednesday. Currently, the market's projecting that as a 7% chance of it getting approved. So obviously, very uh, bearish outlook from the market on whether or not ETH ETF gets approved. This is from Polymarket. You can actually bet on it right now if you think otherwise.
You're
Feel free to
telling
bet
me
on
there's a
that.
chance. Yeah.
So yeah, so I think the public or the overall sentiment right now is that the disapproval, the rejection is baked into ETH price right now. If for whatever reason we got an approval on ETH, I think we would likely get a pretty wild green candle on ETH. In the case, and even if it gets rejected, that we might not even really move any lower, as a lot think that this approval is already baked in. So very interesting week ahead for ETH, and what the SEC does decide to do. Kind of what their people are also looking at, what the language is going to be around behind the SEC's rejection, if they're going to officially label it security finally. Um, so big week ahead. Wednesday's the key day there for that. It would be amazing if we somehow did get an approval, but right now it's not looking great on that front. Um, what else? Yeah, moving on to Sol. Sol is actually um, and the highest performing market cap coin of this entire cycle, and it continues to be whenever we see an uptrend. Sol seems to be the leader. It's up 22% in this last week. Bitcoin's only up 7%. ETH's up 6%. Um, really continues to dominate throughout. And in my opinion, I don't think that's going to change. Like we've seen this strength from Sol like for a whole year now. And it's still not even back to its all-time high, a previous all-time high. So I think, in my opinion, has a long ways to go, as well as some smart people that I follow also think the same thing. Here's a tweet from Web3 Quant talking about how people are like, yes, it would be bullish if ETH is approved, but it's much harder to try and time the bottom of ETH BTC. Whenever ETH flips, is able to pump more, and it's much easier to just continue to play the trend, which is Sol. So, in my opinion, that's still the wave to move on until we see ETH continuously go up versus Bitcoin. I wouldn't be the one. I wouldn't try to really time it. The bottom on that, I personally am more bullish Sol for the entire cycle than ETH, even though I love ETH and use ETH every single day. I can't be bag biased. You kind of have to look where the market's going, and I think the upside is certainly on the Sol front, and that's where the strength is as well. Good shout out Jinzo rally in 1 minute. So get your rallies in, get your votes in, people.
My God, that was
But yeah, I'm gonna
amazing,
pause right
dude.
there.
Good shit. Yeah, you deserve it. It's like you've done this before or something. Knocked him out, man. Beautiful. Yeah, I was gonna next one. I was gonna ask. We'll just complete the whole market roundup, and we'll touch on shitcoins after this rally here. Yeah, Bitcoin 68.3. You guys go ahead and throw in the horizontal line on your trader view charts. And Jake's more bullish on Solana than anything else. That's my takeaway. That's what I heard.
Yep. Yeah, here's another alternate view too from Web3 Quant, who I also very much respect. Um, and he has the level at 67K. So this was like a couple weeks ago, this tweet, but said once above 67K, then the road to 100K will be swift. We are obviously above 67K right now. We didn't close above it on the daily chart yesterday. I think we were just below it. So I would like to see a close above it on the daily chart to really feel a little bit better about that. But it's great to see at the moment. And again, for those aware, like a daily close happens at 8 p.m. Eastern every day. I'm pretty sure. It might change with the UTC with daylight savings, but I think it's still 8 p.m. Eastern right now. Um, and that just means it's the daily close on the daily chart, like where the candle ends up. And that's an important level that a lot of people traders look at. We're kind of bouncing back down on Bitcoin right now. Hopefully, we get a pump back up. Rally.
4 spots left. That's a big one too.
Good shout. Good shout.
Nice.
Cool. Bad gems. All right, let's give out a little.
Oh,
You know, a little gem bonus for the people.
While we're doing that, man, I gotta ask. Out of fear of embarrassing myself for not recognizing the joke, what's up with the PFP, man? Let's go. Who's that?
This is
Oh, that's our Lord and Savior.
Oh yeah.
That's our God right there.
Ral, what's up? Wonder why there's so many people in. Oh, he's not even in there.
What am I missing? Is that the runes guy?
What's a runes guy?
No, I'm just taking a complete shot in the dark. I don't know.
Oh, at my PFP? No, this is Scotty
Yeah,
Scheffler.
yeah.
This is the best golfer in the world. He got
Okay.
arrested. He got arrested before his tournament on Thursday in like a whole misunderstanding. Where there was like an accident where unfortunately a guy got hit by a bus and died, like a worker at this tourney. So there's a bunch of cops around, like cutting off like him going into this I don't know, into the golf tourney. And he was just getting waved by some cops, and I guess one of the cops didn't realize he got waved in. He was like stopping him, and he like apparently like jumped on his car or something, and then like
What the fuck?
I don't know, and then like threw Scotty out of the car and like handcuffed him. He like obviously didn't know who he was. Um, and they like took him in and arrested him and like booked him up. So this is his mugshot from that day. But he eventually, I mean, he got released that morning. He ended up playing the entire tournament. He like made his tee time at 10 a.m. After
Did he
being
shit on
booked in
him?
the tournament.
So
Did
he
he
played
do good?
What's up?
he played
played,
Thursday night, right? And then the Friday morning is when he got arrested, but between the rounds. And then he got arrested like at 5 or 6 a.m. And then he got there on time because the round was delayed because of weather. He said he was sitting in the jail cell now, right? They even asked him if he wanted the full experience. He's like, I don't fucking know how to answer that, bro. Like, what do you mean the full experience? Anyway, so they locked him in jail, and he's like, man, I don't know if I want to make my tea time. So he started warming up in the jail, started doing his warm-ups, his stretches and everything. All this while watching himself on TV, basically getting arrested. And then he sees on TV also that the round's going to be delayed by a couple hours because of the weather, and that kind of allowed him to make his tea time at like 10 a.m. or something. So you made it there on time. And he played great. He played great that day. He just sucked the next day, but he played great that day. He was locked in, bro. He had like almost a record-setting day that day.
Man, that is crazy. Yeah, I can't believe I missed this. It's in my hometown too. It's in Louisville. Just don't watch the news and shit.
yeah.
But man, that just show you the LMPD. They don't fuck around, dude. Like it's always kind of been like a local meme, but I'm glad that I'm like justified in this. You know what I mean? It's like nationally, people are probably like, "Wow, they're fucking crazy over there," and they absolutely are. That's wild. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for the context, man. I'm rocking with it. What a G.
I know. It makes it funnier that he's like the nicest guy, and he's like kind of like a good dude, or like a goody, almost like not like a goody two shoes kind of guy, but he's like the youth pastor of golf. You know, he's like like wouldn't hurt. He would like would he's like never done anything bad, so it's just funny that
This is super
He got
hard
a
to add to
shot.
his rap sheet, man. He's getting some street cred
Yeah.
now. That's dope.
Oh, THC, you're gonna love this. It didn't take them long before they printed shirts. Like a couple of fans, they went out to like a print shop for shirts and they printed his mugshot on their shirts and they were walking around the course trying to get his attention with the fucking shirts full of mugshots. It was great.
Bruh, what the fuck? All right, is there a ticker for this? Where do I put my money?
I don't know. I haven't seen any.
Oh shit. All right, well, give it like 20 minutes. Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, that's a good segue though. I did want to chat on meme coins though, real quick before we change it up because meme coins have been a hot topic as well. Kind of started by alt, crypto Don alt, the duck, who has been publicly short and shitting on meme coins over the past week. He notably publicly shorted Whiff, as well as Pepe, I think, as well. And he kind of became like the main character of crypto Twitter over the past week. After that, because a lot of meme coin traders obviously came after him because he's talking bad about their bags. Um, myself included, I said this in chat, but I actually sold the vast majority of my position because I really respect his opinion, and it was a pretty clear like he gave his invalidation levels, which were just a bit above where price was at the time. I think it was like 315 and price was like 306 or so. And if it just got up to like 330, then his trade's invalidated. So in my opinion, I saw that as look, I'll just sell now, and I'll buy back if his trade's invalidated. But if not, then I can always buy back much cheaper. It has turned out that his trade's been pretty spot on so far. With has collapsed a bit since I think he said that at like 306 and it got all the way down to like 250 or so, 245 or something like that. I think it's at like 270 or something right now. And that's despite the fact that Bitcoin during that time went from 61K to almost, now 67.5 at the moment. So Bitcoin went up in considerable amount and WIF still went down all that much. So showing it a lot of weakness in the meme sector right now. He notably called the meme coin top as well, which obviously got a whole bunch of people riled up too. Which again, I'm not gonna always take one person's opinion as Bible for what happens with the market, but he is probably the number one person that I listen to because he's been accurate quite a bit. So that's kind of what scared me off it, and I saw it as an easy validation, even if price just kind of went up a little bit, that I could always just buy back. So in my terms, it was pretty easy risk reward play to just sell, and then I can always buy back at cheaper if I wanted to.
He almost shook me
So
off
yeah,
too.
so
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
I thought you were done.
yeah.
He almost shook me
No,
off,
go ahead,
bro.
go ahead.
I was thinking the same thing in the 3 to 330 range. I was looking for an exit on Whiff because I bought for a flip basically around the 2.5 range a few weeks ago, and I told myself if it hits 330 around, I'll sell. 3.5. It's a good enough flip for me. It got there and I didn't sell, and then it was bouncing around there for a while. I'm thinking, man, I feel like it's gonna just dump. But it felt strong. I felt like over a long period, maybe it could get higher than 4 again. So I held on, but when I saw the Don tweets, I was like, man, if this guy's attacking it, I think I should get out before other people do. And I should have done like you, man. I almost DM'd you actually to find out what you were gonna do with that, but now I know.
Yes, sir.
Just because I brought it up, we're talking about meme coins. Is that a joke? The timestamp thing on Pew?
Yeah, that's a joke.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a joke.
okay, cool. I wasn't familiar. Thank you.
Wow, that does not read as a joke. Great question.
Did
you guys see? Yeah, you saw the signature. Sorry.
Yeah.
The connect.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's definitely a joke. That's pretty funny. Just on the topic of meme coins, I think right now, like we've seen this so many times in crypto, is like the meme coins, they move in a cycle, and it's been, I mean, if you think back, like the past, I don't know, like 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months. Like it's meme coins have been kind of center stage for that whole time. So it doesn't completely, seem like a crazy thing to say that it's been like a local top for meme coins at this point, just because it has kind of been really the predominant thing for quite a while now in crypto. So to see them cool off, I mean, we haven't seen really the mass adoption that we were hoping for when Bitcoin broke like the all-time high. We really haven't seen normies coming back and getting into coins. So it wouldn't surprise me for that meme coins fizzled out for a little bit. Obviously, there's going to be pockets where coins still do really well. There's going to be, I'm sure every day there's going to be a new coin that does it really well. But there's just so many to choose from. It might just be harder and harder to pick which ones end up doing well. So in my opinion, I would, I guess, be a little more careful around meme coins. We've seen, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, all doing really well over the past week, and meme coins a lot of them are actually down over the past week. Like WIF's down 15%. I'm looking right now on the 7-day versus, Sol's up 21%. Doge is down, or Doge is flat in that time. So just something to monitor, I would say. Pepe's down 3%, despite, again, he's up 5%. So
Yeah,
I would just be
usually
more
see that
careful
though,
with
right?
meme coins, be more risk on.
Exactly, I
What's
agree. Because
up?
we usually see that, right, where main coins will run and then like the memes will cool off a bit. So it'll be one then the other. We might get another meme cycle, but it might take a few days. Who knows? It might take a little while. Let the main ones run, and people are gonna do like they always do, man. Like remember they used to cycle back into NFTs. Well, I think now they're just cycling back into meme coins. That's what everybody's trading. So I don't think they're dead. I think they're just gonna cool off. Who knows how low they'll go and how long they'll be cool for? But I don't think it's gonna be long before they move again.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's hard. It's certainly hard to time any type of like meme coin cycle top. I'm gonna be personally more careful with them. I mean, I still think like couldn't have they might not have topped for the. I don't think they topped for the cycle, but they could have locally topped, and it could be months, before they start to rip again. Just where the attention could shift away. I mean, we've seen this in past cycles, like the beginning of like 2021, meme coins were all the rage, right? And they were going crazy into like May or so, and then they fell off for the entire summer, and then they all corrected by pretty huge amounts, 80-90% or so, while the rest of macro corrected too. And we saw NFTs be the thing that picked up. Not saying that NFTs are going to be the thing that picks up again, but I'm just saying, like, even though it remains a bull cycle, we still could get a pretty large correction across the board with meme coins, even if they haven't topped. So just something to be aware of if you're trying to hold these coins for long term. Like, there's pretty crazy volatility, and even if you are super bullish, like you have to hold through some pretty long downtrends if that is your play of things. I'm just personally more cautious on them right now until I see more strength, because right now they're looking pretty weak.
All right, beautiful. Well said. I'm going to open it up to you guys. Just, give Jake a second here to get a sip of water, catch his breath and stuff. Does anybody want to jump in here before we move along? Any thoughts on macro, any of the coins we talked about, shit coins, the main coins, the market in general? Let's take a brief pause here if anybody wants to jump in. You get no help today, man. You covered it well. It's beautiful.
There's also not much to talk about, right? So what are you gonna say? He did cover it well, but what else are you gonna talk about? IKB, you want to talk about bets? We could talk about bets. What else? There's nothing much going on, man. There's like,
Oh, we're gonna talk about GB.
we're
for
definitely gonna
sure.
talk about that.
Oh, for sure. I'm ready for it. That or Pirate Nation. That's a good one too.
Pirates, yeah, man. We'll get into the fun stuff. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. Then I'll go ahead and give the audience a warning here. I'll pose this question again after we go through some stuff. So if you guys have any topics you want to bring up later, you can go ahead and get the gears spinning now. But Jake, kick it over to you, man. What are you looking at this week? Like what's on your radar, man?
Right now, it's still kind of, well, I kind of want to backdrop it with what we saw last week, which was the Blast airdrop got extended to June. We originally thought it was going to be late May. They came out and said it was going to be, actually, I mean, they gave a exact date, which was nice. At least we know exactly when it's going to happen. They gave June 26th for the airdrop. but that was a month extension from what we saw. Obviously, delay is not entirely great. If you have been farming it pretty religiously, they said that they're going to increase total airdrop supply in order to try and compensate for this delay, meaning going to do like a bigger percentage of the total token supply is going to go to the airdrop. We don't know what the original percentage was, and we don't know how much they're increasing it by, so I don't really know what to do with that information, I guess. But that's something. Gold estimates have changed. Originally, there's a lot of estimates around $10 range. It's probably dropped by about half now, around $5. I've seen as low as like $3, around like as high as like $6 or $7. So obviously it's gonna be hard to really estimate that, but I think I would safely reduce expectations on how much gold is going to come out, because it seems like they're going to release a lot more gold, given it's going to come out through the jackpot, and they said they're going to do 2 more gold distributions, I believe, of 15 million gold each distribution. So those are something to look forward to. I'd say in general, like my opinion on this is that it's it's kind of business as usual. I still think the blast stuff is underfarmed. I think it's almost going to be even more underfarmed, given that people are probably upset by this increase or by this delay, and then they're going to get tired of it, and they're going to move on to other stuff. Especially if the market keeps pumping, there'll be more opportunities out there. In my opinion, if you kind of just stick with it, like this is going to be where there's probably like a top heavy amount of gold is going to be distributed over this next month, via the jackpot and via these other platforms that are giving out gold. And if you kind of just stick with the farm and can do it in a way that's you're relatively breaking even or so, then I think it can be pretty profitable once Blast Gold comes out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. We can definitely talk about Blast Farms. We can definitely talk about other people's opinions if someone thinks differently from that. But that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. And the main ones I'm looking at are Fantasy Top and IKB. But yeah, I just want to stop it there in case anyone has thoughts around the Blast airdrop delay. I feel you got hot mic, by the way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Like, I think it's a decent segue to just talk about what are your thoughts on people's interpretation of the Web3/crypto space right now. I think when we started a few months ago on Solana chain, or at least Solana was the big chain that people were doing everything on, big narrative on airdrop farming. It seems like a lot of people are burnt out. It does seem like Blast is different. But what is it about Blast that's different? What do you think the thesis or hypothesis is for putting value to these airdrop tokens that come out, and sort of just like where do you think we're at as a space in terms of just, is everyone fatigued across the chain? I personally feel that, but I'm very curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty general sentiment. We've just been chopping for, I don't know, almost like 3 months now, I think. Really, and that just means there's been less opportunities. Like it's been harder to make money in this space, and people are losing money trying to go too risk on. I know I certainly have not had the best trading time trading over the last few months. Like it's been significantly harder than what it was late of last year and early this year, like in January, February. So people are kind of getting chopped up a bit, and right now, like at the moment, like the only real plays have been these farms, right? Just to try and get gold in the future. I think, I guess for Blast specifically, I am bullish on it because I really think the use case is super valuable in their competitive, I guess, moat that they have with being able to offer yield natively on chain. I think that's a pretty huge unlock for I've talked about this before on previous shows, but I think it's a pretty huge unlock for any protocols that want to build on Blast. Like I'll give IKB as an example, which we've talked about before, but it's like a DFS site, right? Where you do like player props and picks. and contests and such. Their main competitors are DraftKings and FanDuel, and DraftKings and FanDuel charge 10 to 15% fees basically on each contest, whereas IKB is able to charge 0% fees. And they're able to do that. They're able to have this competitive advantage against these other platforms because they can earn this native yield on users deposits. And that yield is pretty juicy. I think it's like 10 to 20% on stablecoins, right? They use USDB on Blast right now. So say your average TVL of your protocol is like $10 million. You have people who are depositing $10 million on your site, which for like DraftKings and FanDuel, it's way more than that. But for an example, like if your average TVL is like $10 million, and you're making $1 million revenue just because of what Blast offers with this native yield on your customers' money, and there's no risk of a bank run or liquidity risk within that, because it's not like you're putting these user deposits in custodial treasury accounts, or you're not like you're putting them in I don't know, like CDs or whatever, earn interest. Like this is just native yield, and it's given to every single dollar on the platform, not even like a small percentage of it. So at any time, users can withdraw half the entire money on the site, in less than 24 hours, and they'll still be fine from a liquidity aspect, and they'll still be earning money on everything that is on the platform. So I think given those aspects, like that unlocks a lot for a lot of these different platforms. That gives them a pretty distinguished competitive edge, where they can earn income in a different way. Whereas so they can reduce fees in other areas to attract customers. So I think while Blast is the only big chain out there that offers this native yield, then they're going to continue to be a place that prominent apps go to, and will be able to attract users because they have competitive advantage against their competitors. So that's kind of what I think about Blast. So in general, that just makes me more bullish on Blast because they're able to offer that. So I'm going to continue to farm Blast because I think their token's going to be worth a good amount. Considering that competitive advantage, is I'm bullish on them long term, as long as they maintain this competitive moat.
Yeah.
Jake, you're on fire today,
could-
sir. Thank you.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
GM,
Ross.
sir.
Yeah. What's up, guys? So two thought processes that I kind of have right now is, and it kind of regards the overall market. I mean, we're not in 2021, right? But so my big picture is, where is Blast as an L2 in terms of opportunity, experiences compared to other L2s? What, 2 months, 3 months into their existence? The Big Bang did a whole hell of a lot to bring all sorts of good builders and bad builders. But the point is that there's a lot to do. Whether or not it's things you like to do or not, it doesn't really matter. There's so much to do. I mean, in 2021, all we could do was mint and sell shit on OpenSea in terms of outside of the DeFi space, really. So in general, across the board, that's evolved. But look at Arbitrum. During a bull market, there was the whole magic, ecosystem and all that. But here's my question that I ask for people wondering, like Ross, wondering if you're getting burned out. What would you be doing otherwise? And that's a serious question. Is the idea of farming Blast pulling you away from something you rather doing in Web3 right now? To me, if I wasn't farming Blast, what I was doing before this went live was like playing around with Base and Barachain and some of these things, and I am perfectly comfortable completely forgetting about those for the time being. Like I don't have any feeling that I'm missing out on anything else going on, and that just could be because I'm tunnel visioned right now. But I'm also not seeing a lot of conversation about much else going on besides some stuff on like Base. Yeah, no, I would ask, kind of ask yourself, like, do you feel like you're spending your time here when you could be spending it elsewhere? Like, I can't say yes to that question, but like I said, I could be tunnel vision. But beyond that, I'm like I started off with, I think that the amount of things to do on top of this yield, this yield chain essentially is kind of amazing. And I think people are kind of distracted by how much points are worth, how much gold's worth, and they're kind of trying to value the chain based on that and not based off of how much is being built on the chain. Like Jake's examples of IKB and fantasy, I mean, they're kind of elite experiences in in Web3 and I group us into a group of people that's like NFT started, so we kind of play things that are more UI based, not really like finance and mathematical contract based stuff. And it's kind of an easier entry to participate in this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of Gamblify, there's a lot of game stuff. NFTs, you can't really say it's a Blast problem. The NFTs is an NFT problem across the board. None of us believe in all the old selling points. But no, those are just kind of like some, not really well thought out thoughts, but kind of thoughts that I have and why I'm justifying it. I also really believe in Pac-Man long term. I mean, he does what he does because he has a reason. There's not really, I don't think there's much going on that he doesn't have a really good understanding of, unlike other builders in Web3.
Good shout, man. Appreciate you bringing it up. Hot mic there, Poop, unless you want to jump in if you got any blast opinions here. Yeah, I appreciate the perspective, the insights there from Jake, man. I hadn't really thought about the sort of like security, like sort of structural angle, the foundation that provides. It's a pretty good narrative. Can't believe I hadn't thought of that angle, but yeah, sounds good anyway.
Yeah, man. I think it's a good point too, Seth, that you brought up, and like what else are we to do right now? I think that could shift. It's looking right now like, I mean, Bitcoin's still pumping at the moment as we're talking, above 68K, which is great. If we do break out here, then that could shift, and there's going to be more opportunities in the market because everything's going to be going up, which would be excellent. And the narrative could shift away from Blast, right? And it's going to be on to the next thing. So while I am heavily farming Blast right now, I think obviously the most important thing in crypto is to stay curious and stay flexible with what you're doing. It also depends on your trading style. It depends on the time that you have. But if you're really doing this, seriously, and you want to try and get ahead of the market, I think kind of looking at things and trying to be new or trying to be early to trends, look at what people are talking about, exploring new protocols, exploring new projects, I think is always going to be pretty beneficial in the long run. So I think, as we're pumping right now, as I'm talking, I'd say like, yes, Blast is the thing right now. I still think it's going to be a great farm. I think you can kind of do both, but I think there's going to be some new opportunities here, likely pretty soon if we do continue to go up. Where if you stay curious and trying to look for what's starting to pop off, there could be a really good entries in a lot of different ecosystems. So yeah, that's all I'll say on that.
Well said. I got one more Blast one for you. I've been fading, but I'm seeing it pop off now. This the Wolf game shit where they ported over to Blast. Looks like it's doing well. Looks like it's popping off. They've got B-Wool, and it's pumping pretty hard. I think they had like some free assets that you could mint to like play. Not the full scoop, but I just know that they're making the rounds. Kind of the resurrection of Wolf game. Not a holder personally, but if anybody had anything on that, I'd love to hear the story, or if it's a full comeback or what's going on.
I don't know about full story, but go on wolf.game and see if you can claim for free, because they're just giving away a bunch of boxes and stuff for free, and a bit of wool for free to everybody, as long as you're part of like a huge list of communities that they have listed. So just go check on wolf.game and see if you're eligible. Do the whole bridge thing that they ask you to do and deposit a small amount, and I mean, it's better than nothing. Just get involved and see, because these assets last time surprised all of us. Maybe these free ones will do the same. A lot of people might be fading it. It might be something for free that you can do that brings back some value, and maybe the game will be fun. Who knows? But Wolf.game, and go see if you're eligible for the bridge.
Yeah, on that I got to run really quick, but two things. They're starting a D1 space at 4 p.m. Eastern. Good luck trying to get in on that. If you do want to get in to be in, I would wait until the bots sell. You're probably not going to be able to buy during fair launch, and it's going to be botted crazy. I don't know, that shit might get up to like 20,000 gems or 20,000 ole. So that's that. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern. They just announced it, but wait until you actually have the space number, because there's going to be a bunch of fakes to try to capture people or trick people. In addition, the actual game where the wool burn mechanic's going to go live is going to be in like I think they said like 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm personally holding the wool for the jackpot, and I'm interested to see what the burn mechanic does for the price, and I will probably be shorting it somewhere just in case it does hit the jackpot and gets a nice dip. So try not to hold it too. I don't want to hold it too long, but I also want to capture both sides of the trade, including the gold.
Thank you for reminding me to install my wool, because I have it, but I forgot to put it in, and if it hits now, it'll hit well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys.
That was a lot of alpha, dude. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I hope you guys had your pen and paper out to write down what Seth was saying as he went through that. That was fire. But yeah, lots of jackpot speculation around wool. It seems to be the thing right now. So, grats if that has paid off to old holders, and if anybody else is looking to jump in, good luck. I'm firing up a new tab right now.
Yeah, it's super quick and easy to do. I mean, Wolf.game, check if you're eligible. I should probably do. I'm actually getting ready right now to leave to go to a funeral, but if someone wants to throw it in time sensitive just so people can check, that's like, it's an easy thing to do that might bring you value. So why not?
Yes, sir. As long as the daily gameplay loop isn't too long, we'll have to add it to the field report of the daily tasks. Put it right next to Pirate Nation. You guys are getting those gauntlets in, farming that booty. All right. Well, so anything else on Blast? Anybody else? Any other projects? Jackpot speculation? Gold FUD?
Yeah, I did want to touch on IKB stuff. I know we talked about it previously, but I still think it's like probably the best farm on Blast right now. That is with a couple caveats though. I'd say if you are like decently competent at DFS, or you can kind of run your own scripts, and are really kind of like a whiz at Excel, then you can kind of just use projections that these sites offer, and go from there. I think that's what guys like Ezrin are doing, who didn't have any previous experience, and he's doing pretty well with it. Or you can honestly, we post bets, which are like pick'ems. Basically, it's like props on, is this guy going to score more or less a certain amount of points in a game, things like that. We post those based on projections. Myself and Relic have been posting them, and those have been doing pretty decent. You can honestly just follow the bets that we just copy the bets that we post, if you want to get into it. I will say like a couple caveats on that. But we've been making a lot of gold. Like I've made almost like 1,000 gold over the past 3 days. I mean, I'm doing pretty high volume, like a few $1,000s a day, but still, like that's like a lot of gold. And I'm like a bit above. I'm like in profit as well throughout. So it's a pretty wild gold farm if you are, I guess, playing it the right way. I wouldn't get too degen with it. I'd ask in our Rainmakers and DFS chat that we have. There's a lot of sharps that can help out. We have a ping roll called IKB that you can use. There that you can ask for. Just ask myself or Ahmad to get it added to your name, and you can get pinged for the bets whenever we send them out. But in my opinion, it's the best one. I would just make sure to manage your bankroll. Like, for instance, when we send out the bet, a lot of these bets are like 5-leggers, and it's like a 20x if they hit. it's obviously, you know, a small percentage chance that it hits, you know, like 6 or 7% chance that it hits. So you got to manage your bankroll with that expectation, only using like 6%, 6 or 7% of your bankroll on these bets. That way you can kind of last for a longer time. And there's more strategy that goes into it, a little bit more, but that's kind of the gist of it. I just want to continue to shout this out. Like, even if you aren't super into sports, I think it still can be a good farm if you play it right. And we can help you out if you have more questions over in Rainmakers chat. A farm right now for me to like not shout out because it does not have as much users as it should for how much gold that they are getting allocated and giving out every day. So
Yeah.
I'm deluding myself even giving you guys this alpha. So I'm trying to help you out. But
Relic. Fucking Relic. That's too funny.
as you
This
can
guy's
see,
crazy.
Relic is the top all-time profit on the site. So he's an absolute legend. So listen to anything he says regarding
Please,
this.
dude.
MVHQ has
Most
been
of
dominating this
you,
leaderboard.
yeah, we win every tournament pretty much. We're always on top. Someone from the community is always winning. But just to give you a little bit of like to bring it back down to earth a little bit, you're probably gonna have more of an experience like I do or like others. You'll probably be break even or a little bit under, and the gold makes up for that. So the thing is, the gold you can't turn it back into USD, so you can play again. So you got to kind of manage your bankroll in a way where, you know, you have to understand that sometimes you'll have to redeposit. So make sure you have a certain amount you're willing to play, and if you're in profit, cool. If not, we'll get ready to reload because you're gonna get gold back, but we don't know what that gold is worth, and you might have to reload a few times, right, until you hit something. So just play small at first, and if you see that they're giving a big allocation of gold on a certain day, maybe play a little bit bigger because really it's too easy to get that gold. It's the easiest one. I mean, my wife's saying to stop. It's too much alpha. He wants all the gold for himself. That little goblin.
Yeah, sorry. Do us a favor. We'll share with VHQ this alpha, obviously, but don't just try not to spread it to other people because it is a really good farm right now.
Oh yeah,
Um,
don't tweet about it. Even Easy Eats Bodega was tweeting about it, and I told him, bro, stop. And I don't think he's tweeted once about AKB since.
we'll share
Yeah,
with the fam, obviously.
I totally understand the sentiment, dude. As soon as you said 1,000 the past couple of days, like both my eyebrows raised up. Like, hold up. Like, yeah, I understand people are like, shut up.
But I want everyone to cook, so what we do.
Beautiful. Well, ish. Kind of seeing a segue there. You want to cover fantasy top for the week? Anything there?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. I know that's been pretty hot in MVHQ too. I've been playing it. Yeah, we saw prices go down significantly, I think, over the weekend, where it seems like people are kind of the allure of fantasy tops fading a bit. There's starting to be some more criticisms coming in. Prizes aren't what people had hoped initially in some of these tournaments, so we saw prices come down to, I think, levels that were much more reasonable. I think it was certainly overblown at first with the hype, and now there's kind of coming down to the spots where I think there's actually some decent buy opportunities in the market. I'm still playing it. I think it has value. It is certainly more of a whales game in my opinion. Um, I don't think it's like the easiest thing to get up and be profitable if you have a smaller account. Unfortunately, based on prize distributions and kind of what their offerings are, maybe that changes. Maybe they try to shift more towards that, but at least my take is right now, it's more of a bigger player game. If you do want to get involved, um, I think a good way of doing it is like looking ahead, and trying to go for cards that are in tournaments that haven't been like posted yet, or because a lot of times like cards will pump a good amount. Like if there's a rare only tourney, then a bunch of good rare cards will pump. If you instead start buying commons, in expectation for like a common only tourney, you can probably get some pretty good deals. And I think even if you want to just play the market and not even like really worry about the tourneys, I think that's probably a really great route because I think most people are playing the tourneys themselves. And we've seen this in Rainmakers, which is pretty similar game type. Whereas like playing the market can be more profitable than actually playing the game itself or focusing on that. So I know we have some big fantasy top people in here, so I'll open it up if you guys have any thoughts around current shape of fantasy top right now.
I think there's a lot of we're seeing it's just a lot of randomness. Like we're seeing people with kind of cheaper decks doing really well, and people with expensive decks not doing well. I ran a bunch of like simulations for the various setups where it's like give me the rares best price for like price per ETH for this budget, that budget, that budget, and like the 0.4 range was within about 5% of the 1.5 ETH range. Like there was so much in terms of price per ETH to get a good deck, and we're seeing people who've put a lot of work into like even the rares tournament who are doing so much better than others, and others spent so much more on their deck than others. So I think even if you want to just throw what you can afford to get decks in, just submit them because they've got so much gold, and you could get lucky, and you can always recycle and jump in and out as you need to without having to stack tons or spend loads. We are seeing some good positions from people with who aren't spending tons.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Looks like Seth left, or I'm sure he would have some opinions since he's a prominent member of the Fantasy Top Chat. But I agree. I think honestly, the way I think I'm gonna start playing it is like trying to do like the cheapest deck I can for the tournament. That's also still like decently good. Hopefully finish, up and hopefully take down like a top 10% finish or so. And then use the rest on to try and play the market. Because there's a bid system and stuff too. So and you can your ETH isn't like locked up in a single bid. You can kind of bid across a bunch of different cards at once. So you can kind of get some pretty cheap cards. If you get lucky enough to get your bid accepted on some of these, and then hopefully play the market where that card's worth much more if it's like going to be hot one that's needed for a tournament coming up that gets announced. So in my opinion, that's kind of how I'm playing it personally. There's obviously different ways that you want to play that you can play it. You can be a whale and go all out and try and finish up there and get some pretty big prizes. But like Esmond said, like there's a lot of gold to be had here, so I think there's a pretty decent floor on a lot of these cards just because of the the monetary value of the prize pools, and the prize pools are going to continue to go on for I don't know how long, but at least months, and be pretty juicy, especially over this next month while Blast is going, while Blast Gold is going. So I think it's a pretty good opportunity still, at least for the next several weeks. We can kind of reevaluate from there, but at the moment, I think given current prices where we're at, I think if you just want to get involved, I don't think it's a bad time if you can pick up some cheap ones on bids.
Yeah, and also just look at what's not announced. Like we know there's going to be a main tournament 3, but everyone's currently pumping the price of the commons, so it's a good time to watch people dump the epics and if you can stretch to start looking at epics before tournament 3. Now's a good time to do that while everyone else is looking at other stuff. And rares as well, since the rare one's coming to an end in a minute.
Yes, sir. Great shout. But yeah, that's all I had on Fantasy Top.
Beautiful. That's all I've got total. I think that's covered pretty much everything that I had that I at least wanted to talk to and ask about. So, Jake, I'll kick it over to you if there's any more topics, or to the audience if there's any questions on anything.
I'll say, I mentioned in the beginning of the show, the level is 68.3. We're currently at 68,250 right now.
Keep talking, keep going. Tell us about decentralization. Go.
We're looking real good. That is, an important level, so that probably is resistance. So we might bounce down off that before we break through. Just a heads up there, but we're close, which is really nice. We're close. But no, I didn't have anything else on my slate. But if anyone else, any members, have anything you guys want to chat about, Let's do it.
Anyone looking at Guild of Guardians? Their game just launched officially.
I have not checked it out, but I do have some assets, so I definitely should go take a gander. Good shout.
Yeah, good shout. I had a couple $100 worth of like characters that I ended up being able to sell from you giving that shout out earlier.
Nice.
I completely forgot about. So yeah, check if you, because I know a lot of us participated in that sale. Like I don't even know, like a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
It's how I felt when Big Time came back around. I'm like, wait, no, yeah, I did do that. Really? It's happening? Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post link, by the way, in the this is the wrong chat. Voice hangout chat to Token Trav. If anyone wants to check and see if they have any Guild of Guardians assets that they didn't know about that they might want to sell.
Oh, you're the man. What a great link. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, just don't break the ones I'm selling.
Man, I've been rocking with the immutable passport for the past week. It's pretty nice, man. I'm like impressed. I like the tech.
What is this? The Mutable Passport.
It's like their ZK EVM immutable version, but it's got like a wallet that they create for you, like with an email account. So it's like smoother onboarding for like their games and stuff like that. But it's ZK, so it's like it's like no gas, which I guess immutable wasn't either, but nobody used it. But this just being, I guess, EVM compatible is opening up bigger stuff for like their gaming side. So it's a nice little front end, nice little entry into it. That's one of the daily tasks, by the way, man. You just go create one with your email, and then you just click daily to get gems on their website.
Did you say you could or couldn't export the private keys to that?
That's a good question. Let me get back to you on that. I'm not sure. And it's
What was
clunky.
that question?
If you can export the immutable passport wallet.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a good question. I would assume not. That like a lot of the stuff is clunky. You have to kind of use their toolkit to do like some of the bridging and even transferring tokens. There's not like a button inside of their wallet to just send.
Yeah,
you have to like go through their
did
toolkit.
they test this?
Yeah, kind of bizarre, but yeah, it's definitely very early. But it seems promising.
Cool.
I will say I'll drop the alpha here. If anybody wants to play with the immutable passport ZK EVM stuff, when you use their bridge, there's a little toggle on the bridge where you're sending an ETH from mainnet. You have to hit this toggle called refuel, and that's going to give you some IMX on the ZK EVM network so that you can pay for gas and stuff. Because even if you bridge the ETH in, you're just going to still be stuck there, and it's a fucking headache. Trust me. So I'm going to save you guys some hours, save you some time. Hit that little refuel toggle if you ever bridge in to immutable passport. Well, if we got nothing else, we can go ahead and call it there. Which I feel comfortable about. Getting pretty efficient at this, man. Almost right in the hour there. Jake, did you have anything else, or no? You said you didn't. So any closing thoughts, man? Any final words to send us off?
Look at that 68.3 level for Bitcoin.
Oh
above
my
it.
God.
We're looking real good. Besides that, thank you everyone for contributing to the talk. We'll still be around, obviously, to chat it up about whatever you guys want. But yeah, we can close out the show. Thanks, THC. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you guys same time next week.